Hello viewers, welcome to Seek Wisdom. Today we are here with the summary of another classic book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, written by John Gray. The book helps the men to understand the inner working of a woman and vice versa. If you are finding problems in your relationship, reading the book can help you in learning about the opposite sex, thus enrich the quality of your relationship. So let's get started. Chapter 1. Men are from Mars, and women are from Venus. Based on the gender differences, this book assumes men belong to Mars, and women belong to Venus, living together on Earth. After they forgot their differences, the conflict arises. Without the awareness that we are supposed to be different, men and women are at odds with each other. Clearly recognizing and respecting these differences dramatically reduces confusion when dealing with the opposite sex. Falling in love is always magical. It feels eternal, as if love will last forever. But as the magic recedes and daily life takes over, it emerges that men continue to expect women to think and react like men, and women expect men to feel and behave like women. With the best and most loving intentions, love continues to die. Somehow the problems creep in. The resentments build, communication breaks down, mistrust increases, rejection and repression result. The magic of love is lost. It happens to almost everyone. Each year, millions of couples join together in love and then painfully separate because they have lost that loving feeling. Very few people, indeed, are able to grow in love. When men and women are able to respect and accept their differences, then love has a chance to blossom. Chapter 2. Mr. Fix-It and the Home Improvement Committee. Let us have a look at the basic behaviors of Martians and Venusians, that is, men and women. A man's sense of self is defined through his ability to achieve results. Even their dress is designed to reflect their skills and competence. Police officers, soldiers, businessmen, scientists, cab drivers, technicians, and chefs all wear uniforms or at least hats to reflect their competence and power. They are more interested in objects and things rather than people and feelings. Men pride themselves in doing things all by themselves. To offer a man unsolicited advice is to presume that he doesn't know what to do or that he can't do it on his own. Because he is handling his problems on his own, a Martian rarely talks about his problems unless he needs expert advice. Talking about a problem on Mars is an invitation for advice. While for women, their sense of self is defined through their feelings and the quality of their relationships. They experience fulfillment through sharing and relating. Relationships are more important than work and technology. In most ways, their world is the opposite of Mars. Communication is of primary importance. To share their personal feelings is much more important than achieving goals and success. A sign of great love is to offer help and assistance to another Venusian without being asked. So, when a woman offers unsolicited advice or tries to help a man consider it as his insult. A man wants to make improvements when he feels he is being approached as the solution to a problem rather than as the problem itself. Likewise, if a man does not understand how a woman is different, he can make things worse when he is trying to help. Men need to remember that women talk about problems to get close and not necessarily to get solutions. So many times a woman just wants to share her feelings about her day, and her husband, thinking he is helping, interrupts her by offering a steady flow of solutions to her problems, which displeases her. These attributes are not wrong. Rather, when our partner resists us, it is probably because we have made a mistake in our timing or approach. Understanding these differences makes it easier to respect our partner's sensitivities and be more supportive. Chapter 3. Men go to their caves and women talk. Another difference between men and women is how they cope with stress. When a Martian gets upset, he never talks about what is bothering him. To feel better, Martians go to their caves to solve problems alone. If he can't find a solution, then he does something to forget his problems, like reading the news or playing a game. When a Venusian becomes upset or is stressed by her day, to find relief, she seeks out someone she trusts and then talks in great detail about the problems of her day. Not being aware of this difference again creates problems. When a man is stuck in his cave, he is powerless to give his partner the quality attention she deserves. When a woman sees a man react in this way, she generally resists it and resents the man. Woman support by talking about the problems, but man defends it and argument starts. By remembering the differences, a woman can correctly interpret his reaction to stress rather than as an expression of how he feels about her. Martians talk about problems for only two reasons: they are blaming someone or they're seeking advice. If a woman is really upset, man assumes she is blaming him. If she seems less upset, then he assumes she is asking for advice. If he assumes she is asking for advice, then he puts on his Mr. Fix-It hat to solve her problems. If he assumes she is blaming him, then he draws his sword to protect himself from attack. In both cases, he soon finds it difficult to listen. As men learn to listen without feeling blamed or responsible, listening becomes much easier, which can be an excellent way to forget the problems of his day as well as bring a lot of fulfillment to his partner. Chapter 4. How to motivate opposite sex. Men are motivated and empowered when they feel needed, while women are motivated and empowered when they feel cherished. When a man is in love, he is motivated to be the best he can be in order to serve others. Given the opportunity to prove his potential, he expresses his best self. Only when he feels he cannot succeed does he regress back to his old selfish ways. To become motivated again, he needs to feel appreciated, trusted, and accepted. Not to be needed is a slow death for a man. Women are happy when they believe their needs will be met. When a woman is upset, overwhelmed, confused, exhausted, or hopeless, what she needs most is simple companionship. A woman's tendency to be compulsive relaxes as she remembers that she is worthy of love. She doesn't have to earn it. She can relax, give less, and receive more. When a woman realizes she has been giving too much, she tends to blame her partner for their unhappiness. In this situation, understanding, trust, compassion, acceptance, and support are the solution, not blaming our partners. It is difficult for a man to listen to a woman when she is unhappy or disappointed because he feels like a failure. Chapter 5. Speaking different languages. Unclear and unloving communication is the biggest problem in relationships. The Martian and Venusian languages had the same words, but the way they were used gave different meanings. To fully express their feelings, women assume poetic license and use various superlatives, metaphors, and generalizations. Men mistakenly take these expressions literally and react in an unsupportive manner. Because many men don't understand that women express feelings differently, they inappropriately judge or invalidate their partner's feelings. This leads to arguments. When men and women are on the verge of arguing, they are generally misunderstanding each other. At such times, it is important to rethink or translate what they have heard. The biggest challenge for women is correctly to interpret and support a man when he isn't talking. They need to learn that when a man is upset or stressed, he will automatically stop talking and go to his cave to work things out. A woman should never go into a man's cave or you will be burned by the dragon of anger. Men process information very differently. Before they talk or respond, they first silently mull over. Internally and silently they figure out the most correct or useful response. They first formulate it inside and then express it. This process could take from minutes to hours. Women need to understand that when he is silent, he is saying, "I don't know what to say yet, but I am thinking about it." Chapter 6. Men are like rubber bands. When a man loves a woman, periodically he needs to pull away before he can get closer. When they pull away, they can stretch only so far before they come springing back. Rubber band is the perfect metaphor to understand the male intimacy cycle. It is neither his fault nor her fault. It is a natural cycle. Women misinterpret a man's pulling away because generally a woman pulls away for different reasons. A man pulls away to fulfill his need for independence or autonomy. When he has fully stretched away, then instantly he will come springing back. When he has fully separated, then suddenly he will feel his need for love and intimacy again. Automatically he will be more motivated to give his love and receive the love he needs. If a man does not have the opportunity to pull away, he never gets a chance to feel his strong desire to be close. If understood, this male intimacy cycle enriches a relationship, but because it is misunderstood, it creates unnecessary problems. Chapter 7. Women are like waves. A woman is like a wave. When she feels loved, her self-esteem rises and falls in a wave motion. When she is feeling really good, she will reach her peak, but then suddenly her mood may change and her wave crashes down. This crash is temporary. After she reaches bottom, suddenly her mood will shift and she will again feel good about herself. When a woman's wave rises, she feels she has an abundance of love to give, but when it falls, she feels her inner emptiness and needs to be filled up with love. This time of bottoming out is a time for emotional house cleaning. When a man loves a woman, she begins to shine with love and fulfillment. Most men naively expect that shine to last forever. But men and women have their own rhythms and cycles. Men pull back and then get close, while women rise and fall in their ability to love themselves and others. A man assumes that her sudden change of mood is based solely on his behavior. When she is happy, he takes credit, but when she is unhappy, he also feels responsible. When a woman moves into her well, he needs to learn that this is when she needs him the most, and it is not a problem to be solved or fixed, but an opportunity to support her with unconditional love. Chapter 8. Discovering our different emotional needs. Men and women generally are unaware that they have different emotional needs. As a result, they do not instinctively know how to support each other. Men typically give in relationships what men want, while women give what women want. Each mistakenly assumes that the other has the same needs and desires. As a result, they both end up dissatisfied and resentful. A woman thinks she is being loving when she asks a lot of caring questions or expresses concern, which can be very annoying to a man. He may start to feel controlled and want space. Similarly, men think they're being loving, but the way they express their love may make a woman feel invalidated and unsupported. Men and women each have 6 unique love needs that are all equally important. Men primarily need trust, acceptance, appreciation, admiration, approval, and encouragement. Women primarily need caring, understanding, respect, devotion, validation, and reassurance. The enormous task of figuring out what our partner needs is simplified greatly through understanding these 12 different kinds of love. Certainly every man and woman ultimately needs all 12 kinds of love. Many people give up when relationships become too difficult. Relationships become easier when we understand our partner's primary needs. Without giving more, but by giving what is required, we do not burn out. This understanding of the 12 different kinds of love finally explains why our sincere loving attempts fail. Chapter 9. How to avoid arguments. One of the most difficult challenges in our loving relationships is handling differences and disagreements. Often when couples disagree, their discussions can turn into arguments and then, without much warning, into battles. Some couples fight all the time, and gradually their love dies. On the other extreme, some couples suppress their honest feelings in order to avoid conflict and not argue. As a result of suppressing their true feelings, they lose touch with their loving feelings as well. One couple is having a war while the other is having a cold war. It is best for a couple to find a balance between these two extremes. As a basic guideline, never argue. It is not what we say that hurts, but how we say it. Most arguments escalate when a man begins to invalidate a woman's feelings and she responds to him disapprovingly. The most common way women unknowingly start arguments is by not being direct when they share their feelings. Men are most prone to argue when they have made a mistake or upset the woman they love. Instead, discuss the pros and cons of something. Negotiate for what you want, but don't argue. It is possible to be honest, open, and even express negative feelings without arguing or fighting. The secret to avoiding arguments is loving and respectful communication. Chapter 10. Scoring points with opposite sex. A man thinks he scores high with a woman when he does something very big for her, like buying her a new car or taking her on a vacation, while the score will be less when he does something small, like opening the car door, buying her a flower, or giving her a hug. Based on this kind of scorekeeping, he believes he will fulfill her best by focusing his time, energy, and attention into doing something large for her. This formula, however, doesn't work because women keep score differently. When a woman keeps score, no matter how big or small a gift of love is, it scores 1 point. Each gift has equal value. Without understanding this basic difference in scorekeeping, men and women are continually frustrated and disappointed in their relationships. The way women score points is not just a preference but a true need. Women need many expressions of love in a relationship to feel loved. 1 or 2 expressions of love, no matter how important, will not and cannot fulfill her. This can be extremely hard for a man to understand. It's magic when a man does little things for his woman. It keeps her love tank full and the score even. Just as men need to continue doing little things for a woman, she needs to be particularly attentive to appreciate the little things he does for her. If a man has made a mistake and feels embarrassed, sorry, or ashamed, then he needs her love more. The bigger the mistake, the more points he gives. When a man is in a negative state, treat him like a passing tornado and lie low. Chapter 11. How to communicate difficult feelings. When we are upset, disappointed, frustrated, or angry, it is difficult to communicate lovingly. When negative emotions come up, we tend momentarily to lose our loving feelings of trust, caring, understanding, acceptance, appreciation, and respect. At such times, even with the best intentions, talking turns into fighting. In the heat of the moment, we do not remember how to communicate in a way that works for our partner or for us. At times like these, women unknowingly tend to blame men and make them feel guilty for their actions. When men become upset, they tend to become judgmental of women and women's feelings. These are the times when talking does not work. Write him or her a letter. The love letter technique is quite flexible. Love letters work because they assist you in telling the complete truth. Merely to explore a part of your feelings does not bring about the desired healing. Whether you are privately writing down your thoughts and feelings on your computer or sharing them in therapy, in your relationships, or in a support group, you are taking an important step for yourself. Chapter 12. How to ask for support and get it. If you are not getting the support you want in your relationships, a significant reason may be that you do not ask enough, or you may ask in a way that doesn't work. Both men and women have difficulty asking for support. Women, however, tend to find it much more frustrating and disappointing to ask for support than men do. Women make the mistake of thinking they don't have to ask for support. Because they intuitively feel the needs of others and give whatever they can, they mistakenly expect men to do the same. This approach to relationships with men doesn't work. Though this problem may feel insurmountable, it can be solved. 3 steps involved in asking for and getting what you want. They are: 1. Practice asking correctly for what you're already getting. When a man hears a demanding tone, no matter how nicely you phrase your request, all he hears is that he is not giving enough. His tendency is then to give less until you appreciate what he is already giving. 2. Practice asking for more, even when you know he will say no, and accept his no. Before attempting to ask a man for more, make sure he feels appreciated for what he is already giving. By continuing to ask for his support without expecting him to do more than he has been doing, he will feel not only appreciated but also accepted. Men are much more willing to say yes if they have the freedom to say no. 3. Practice assertive asking. In this step, you assert your full power to get what you want. You ask for his support, and if he starts making excuses and resists your request, you don't say okay, as in step 2. Instead, you practice making it okay that he resists, but continue waiting for him to say yes. One of the key elements of assertive asking is to remain silent after you have asked for support. Allow your partner to work through their resistance. You may be asking yourself why men are so sensitive about being asked for support. It is not because men are lazy, but because men have so much need to feel accepted. Chapter 13. Keeping the magic of love alive. One of the paradoxes of loving relationships is that when things are going well and we are feeling loved, we may suddenly find ourselves emotionally distancing our partners or reacting to them in unloving ways. It is very common for 2 people who are madly in love one day to hate each other or fight the very next day. These sudden shifts are confusing. Yet they are common. Why this happens? Whenever we are loving ourselves more or being loved by others, repressed feelings tend to come up and temporarily overshadow our loving awareness. They come up to be healed and released. We may suddenly become irritable, defensive, critical, resentful, demanding, numb, or angry. If we can successfully deal with those feelings, then we feel much better and enliven more of our creative, loving potential. By understanding how past unresolved feelings periodically surface, it is easy to understand why we can become so easily hurt by our partners. When we are upset, about 90% of the upset is related to our past and has nothing to do with what we think is upsetting us. Generally, only about 10% of our upset is appropriate to the present experience. When a man's past comes up, he generally heads for his cave. When a woman's past comes up is when her self-esteem crashes. She descends into the well of her feelings and needs tender, loving care. This insight helps you to control your feelings when they come up. If you are upset with your partner, before confronting him or her, first write out your feelings on paper. Through the process of writing love letters, your negativity will be automatically released and your past hurt will be healed. Here we will finish this video. If you want to buy this book, the link is provided in the description. If you like this video, please hit a like, share it with your friends and subscribe this channel for more such videos.